Welcome to the Direct Sales Masterclass. I'm excited today. Today we've got Stu Finger and Michael Swilling from CTFO. Stu's the CEO and founder, and Michael Swilling is the top income earner. I'm excited today to be able to talk with them a little bit about their background in the industry. Both have been involved for decades. And so we're going to talk today about some of that experience and also get into a little bit about sampling. So thanks to both of you for joining, Stu and Michael. Really appreciate you getting on with us today.
My pleasure.
So to give a little bit more background, so Stu was introduced to the industry in 1989. You've been on both the corporate side, right, and the distributor side, built really successful companies with hundreds of thousands of distributors, of customers and tens of thousands of distributors, really successful in that way. And then Michael has built systems. He's been a top earner and a distributor for decades and also has built systems for a lot of companies. And so today I want to get into a little bit how you both were introduced to the industry, what attracted you to the industry, and then we'll dive into some of these other topics. So Stu, maybe let's start with you first. What was it that attracted you to direct sales and first got you involved?
Well, I am 55 years old and I got started when I was 19. And what attracted me was my brother had been in for a year and a half and my mom forced him to give me a chance. And that's literally how I got in. My mom said, "You will let your brother do this." And I was like, I don't know what this is, but if mom says to do it, I'm going to do it. And it changed my life forever. So that's how I got involved. My mom forced my brother.
That's awesome. That's a great intro. Yeah, and your brother, you're always going to listen to what mom says, right? So
yeah, so that's 7.5 years older than me. And I try to listen to him, but yeah, it's been just crazy and I love it. I'm excited about it.
That's awesome. And how about you, Michael? Tell us a little bit about how you were introduced to the industry and what attracted you initially on.
So I graduated from the University of Connecticut back in 1988. And after graduating, I joined corporate America and, had a really good job with some great benefits and a great career path, but I didn't love or have passion for what I was doing. And at the time, someone had approached me, said, "Are you open to look at a business opportunity?" They invited me to an opportunity meeting at a hotel where I showed up and I sat there and I saw the people drawing circles up at the board and learned about the concept of direct sales and network marketing and never looked back.
That's awesome. And that kind of leads me to the next discussion point. I mean, the interesting part about, those of us who have been around the industry for 30 plus years is those were the days, right? People built that way. It was hotel meetings, it was whiteboards, getting up and showing the opportunity. And, I think that was a lot of how people built. We talked early on, when we were having conversations last week about cassette tapes, right? Mm-hmm. And so we all remember those days of people handing out a cassette tape, inviting someone to a meeting, and then the follow-up and enrollment. So what has it been, I think, Stu, maybe on your side from a corporate standpoint, what has been the biggest changes that you've seen from the industry that have gone from that point where it was cassette tapes and brochures and, that has changed to how people are building today?
Yeah, I have a 17-year-old daughter and I love her with all my heart, but she doesn't even know what a cassette tape is. And that I remember, it used to build most of the business back then. So now it's really all about technology. It's about, like we were joking, but it's true. If you can send a text, you can build this whole business right now. So we had to realize at the corporate level that we've got to have the right technology in place or we're going to just fall behind. We're not going to make it. So the biggest shift is a lot less face-to-face, especially nowadays, and more about what can technology do for you. And that's why we're excited to be in business with Verb right now.
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting, I loved your comment of, if you can use your thumbs, you can build a business, and I think that has changed a lot of how people look at it and how people build. So Michael, on your side, I'm sure it's similar, but as far as systems go and building as a distributor, what are the biggest changes compared to how you built, in the late 80s, early 90s?
Well, I think I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but you guys are talking about cassette tapes. I'm going to bring it back to the 8-tracks, which was we used to hand out those videos and put them into the VCR. Yeah, completely different. And it's been such paradigm shifts over these years, over these decades. And, looking back at what we would call old school, It was really, you had to invite people, pick up your phone. There were no cell phones, there were no computers, there were none of that. You had to pick up your telephone. And I'm even embarrassed to say, I don't even think, you didn't have the push button. You used to do the rotary dialing to call someone, and you would invite them to an opportunity meeting. And usually, normally it was at a hotel where you have to pay for the hotel rental for the room. And you would bring in a guest speaker who would come in from usually out of state to do a presentation up in front of the room and do a few-hour presentation. And then you had to do the follow-up. And the follow-up was even difficult because, you had to get a hold of them, you had to meet them for lunch, so on and so forth. And then you see these trends or these paradigm shifts over the years, and we talk about it, but it was then, handing out an 8-track, handing out a cassette, and then eventually the cassettes became DVDs. And then people began to realize, rather than doing those things, why not sending a short, quick video through your mobile app? For example, like Verb, being able to take out your cell phone, right? And sending your prospect something, being notified in real time, letting you know that they're watching that presentation, being able to text a person back. I also want to say, though, that during that time, there was a period of time where emailing was really, really popular. Bulk emailing, email systems. You had mentioned building systems in the past. I've helped build systems. I've owned systems where it was massive broadcasting. But that was before the ISPs were blocking a lot of emails. Every day over billions and billions of emails, you've got Hotmail or Gmail or AOL or all these ISPs will block an email because of spam and so on and so forth. And the statistics of someone opening up and reading an email is only about 20%. So a lot of that's going on, but that's changed. So where we were just even 5 years ago, or maybe even 6-7 years ago, just recently, where emailing was big. I think it's statistically, I've read some things about like 98% or even higher of people will open up a text message. Okay. The deliverability rate's unbelievable. And that's one of the things I absolutely love about these times, because as Stu was mentioning, if you just have 2 thumbs, you can do that. You can build a business. This is a very, very seamless way of building your business and a great way of doing it. So it's fun to watch. And I think the other great thing is that it's duplicatable. It's easy. If you go back, McKinley, do you think, maybe someone's able to invite a prospect to come to a opportunity meeting 20, 30 years ago. But can that person do the same thing? And not always. Versus everyone has a cell phone, or most people do. I don't know the actual statistic, but they have got a mobile device. And there's some crazy things that people literally sleep with their cell phones right next to them. They carry them everywhere they go. Okay. Versus your home phone number, which a lot of people don't even use a home phone number anymore, or they don't even answer the call because of caller ID. Okay. Now what they're doing is getting text messages. And again, it's one of the things that I love because it's duplicatable. To be successful, you got to be duplicatable. So if your prospect receives a text message, they're saying to themselves a few things. First, they're looking at the company, the opportunity, the timing, but they're also saying to themselves, is this something that I can do? Can I do what just happened to me? And not everyone can pick up the phone and do a presentation. Not everybody can do an invite. Not everyone can do that. So it's very seamless. And I think it's a very, very exciting time to be in the industry of direct marketing, because now it's to a point that anyone and everyone can be successful by simply having a phone and being able to send a text message.
And there were some definite barriers, right? Back in the day, one, even just from a skill standpoint, like if you couldn't get up in front of a room, you could invite people and do that, but it limited you, where now a lot of that has been removed. And if you've got the desire and you want to put in the work, you can make it happen. So let's talk a little bit about CTFO. I love what you guys have done. You've been around now, is it 5 years, I think, that, for the company, and with some of what you guys have done, I love the concept of changing the future outcome and how committed you've been to products. That's been the thing that has really stood out to me about, what you guys do. But even more, before we get into the products, let's talk a little bit about the relationship that you guys have of working the field and corporate side by side and hand in hand, that has been a benefit to help you guys grow. I don't think a lot of companies maximize that. And so maybe Stu, tell us a little bit about the relationship that, you and Michael have there, and how that works and how you've been successful building in that way.
Yeah, I'm super thankful for Michael and all of our other leaders. We've been blessed with just this great CTFO family, but like we have things that are a little different here. For example, I've always believed if I can't make it in the comp plan, how can I expect you to? So the way the owners of CTFO get paid is from the comp plan. We have the same contract that like Michael. Matter of fact, Michael earns more money than me here right now, and I own the company. How crazy is that? But I'm coming for you, Michael. I always tell all of you, you don't know how blessed you are to just be associates, right? Because you can just go build your business while I'm running corporate and everything like that. But I never wanted to own my own company. It was never about that. I just felt like I couldn't find one where, nothing crazy would happen to us, like the comp plan would change or the products would be, changed and all that kind of stuff. So the thing that I feel like is different at CTFO is we put ourselves on the same side of the fence as the associates. It's not an us and them thing. If I want a pay raise, the only way I get it is to give Michael one or everybody else one.
Right.
So it's just a little bit different culture.
And I think that's the interesting part for me. That's the unique angle, is it's everything even down to the compensation for you guys, and so I think that creates a unique culture for the company. So Michael, maybe tell us a little bit about how that translates to the field and how effectively, the field and corporate have been able to work together by creating that kind of a hand-in-hand culture.
I think it's amazing. I've been, in this industry for 30 years. I've certainly still a student. I love learning and looking at other companies and speaking to other leaders and speaking to other owners. And I think it's one of the reasons I chose CTFO. There's a lot of reasons I chose the company, but probably one of the largest was because of the ownership. That you had individuals that were founders that said, listen, we want to get paid the same way as everyone else. That there's not going to be any hidden secrets. There's not going to be anything where they're changing the compensation plan. We're taking away from others. And I think it's great. So not only is Stu and his brother Steve and Michael Kahn and David DiArcangelo, not only are these guys, great people and just hardworking and passionate about what they're doing, but they really want to serve others. It's not self-serving, which is incredible. And it's a great relationship, to be able to pick up the phone and to do three-way phone calls, with someone like Stu Finger is priceless. Where in some companies, the ownership is they're not really building, they're not in the field engaging in doing things, they're just more basically running the company. So they have a different perspective how they see things. They look at the company from both a corporate standpoint, but they also understand what it's like to be out in the field.
So let's talk a little bit about that. That's the interesting thing for me, where I think a lot of these companies, they get corporate execs that become isolated, right? And they may play in their sandbox over here running the company day to day. But Stu, what are some of the insights that you've gained by having that mentality? I'm sure there's things that you do differently, on the corporate side, just because you have that, you're in the trenches with them, right? You've got that day-to-day feel.
So as the owner of CTFO, I'm one of the co-founders. I'm here to tell you that we understand that without the associates, we have nothing. That's what it's all about. It's all about them. And we have to protect the goose that's laying the golden egg, but we have to protect the associates and the families and everything like that. And the interesting part about everything that's been going on here is since my brother and I built it first, we were associates and we built it 2 times big, guys. We were blessed, right? But we walked away from those 2 companies, not because the companies were bad, but because we felt like we were making money off people instead of with people. So the first thing we did at CTFO is we set our comp plan up for the average person as well as the hitter. And like I said, now I've got people here making more money than me. And I know if you don't make it here, it's not our fault, right? So we're making money with people, not off people. And then the last part of that for me is that if I don't help them succeed, I'm not going to. And that's as fair as it gets, right? And I love it. That's why I love this industry, by the way. I just love how it's team. It really is a team.
And that's one of my favorite parts too about the industry, is that rarely do you see someone who just isolates by themselves and they're on their own and they succeed. It is relationships. And so I think some of that too that's interesting for me is you talk about that, taking care of the distributor, but you guys also do that same thing of creating that customer experience. You have very loyal customers to the products. And I think that comes down to what the products are, how they work, they're demonstrable and that they're effective, but then also it's that commitment to having long-term customers. So Michael, maybe tell us a little bit about that. At CTFO, what are some of the things you guys have done to ensure that customers have a great product experience, that they want to stay long-term with the company, and you create that same kind of loyalty that you guys have on the distributor side?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things CTFO has done for that is the importance of customer base. First and foremost is the variety. CTFO has over 80 products, and to be a 5-year-old company with a variety of over 80 products is amazing. The second thing that they've done is they've made them affordable. A lot of times in direct sales and network marketing, there are always some great products that companies have, but they could be sometimes a little bit expensive. CTFO has been able to really have a new concept in terms of having the affordability, but at the same time paying out incredible compensation on that. In addition is the free to become a member. You don't need a credit card to sign up, whether as a customer or as a member. So during the sign-up process, it's completely free. The model of CTFO is shop to save, share to earn. So when you sign up for free, you get a 30% discount for life. So any products that you buy, you get at wholesale price with a 30% savings. And another great thing that Stuart said and came out with is, well, how can we reward a new person coming in who hasn't even tried our product? So when someone signs up a CTFO with that free membership, they have a lifetime 30% discount. But if they even order in their first 10 days, there's an additional 10% off that. So just a great way of marketing and saying, hey, new member, new customer, welcome to our family. In additional to your 30% savings, we're going to give you an additional 10% off. And then finally, if for whatever reason you don't get the results, you don't like the product, it's not doing what you're hoping that it does, a 60-day empty bottle, empty bag, empty container, whatever it is, no questions asked, send it back and it's a full refund. And that is very, very incredible. So yeah, our customer base is incredible and continues to grow in over 25 countries and growing. And we're continuously adding new products and whatever we can do or whatever there are niches in terms of how we can help people in a big way.
And that's super interesting to me, that angle of, we know people expect to have some type of reward or benefit from the company, right? And so it's super smart to me that you make them experience that right out of the gates. You come here for free, we're going to, reward you. And it's that, also the activity, the action that's required in those first 10 days to get that extra. Those type of incentives create a unique customer journey. But then it comes back to the product. And that's the other thing for me, Stu, before we get into sampling, which is a key part of what I want to talk about, is that your products have to make an impact. Because even if you have discounted products or savings, if the product doesn't work, if it's not demonstrable and effective, customers expect that. They want to have that type of experience in addition to the savings. And so talk a little bit about what you guys have done with your products and how you create products that work and that demonstrate, that quick, reaction of a customer knows immediately that they've got a CTFO product, they're experiencing it, and they're experiencing benefits.
Like Michael said, we have a 60-day empty bottle, bag, or pouch money back guarantee. Yet we have the lowest returns in the industry, less than 0.25%. Wow. Literally, we can't even believe, that almost nobody returns the products with that kind of a guarantee. But I thought of two things in the beginning of this. I said, I hate the negative stigma of overpriced products. I've always hated it. And, when I joined other companies, they said, don't worry about what the products cost. You're going to be wealthy, right? And then all of a sudden, when people realize they're not making the money that they thought they were going to make, they ask themselves this one question: why am I overpaying for the product? I can go buy it somewhere else cheaper, right? So I called Michael Swilling up at the very beginning of this and I said, Michael, you got to trust me. We're going to do something different. Remember that conversation? We're going to do something special here. We're going to drop the prices on all the products always and forever. And we're going to make sure that whether people are making money here at CTFO or not, they're not going to be able to buy the products cheaper anywhere else, as long as the quality is the same. And then the second thing I said is, and we're never, ever, ever we're not going to make it so that we sacrifice the quality of the product for price. Those are the two main things. And, we've been blessed to have many great things happen to us here. Like, I'll just give you one example, McKinley. We were able to secure the rights to what we call 10X Pure, and it's this patented technology. We own the worldwide rights to it, where everybody knows, like, we're a CBD company, right? Everybody knows that CBD oil is oil, and everyone knows that oil doesn't mix with water. And people are jumping up and down about CBD, and rightfully so. It's a great product. They should be. But what they're forgetting is that oil and water don't mix. So when you're taking most CBD oils out there on the planet, most of it's not getting in your body. But with our patented technology, it makes our oil water friendly. So that means most of it gets in your body instead of doesn't. And then here's the other crazy part about it. It not only makes the oil water friendly, but it also makes it so that it protects key ingredients. Like, for example, and I know this is a long answer, but I'll wrap it up right now.
Oh, this is great.
Here's the thing, everybody, okay? CBD is amazing, and everyone knows that CBD is a good thing. That's not in question anymore. But what's more amazing is CBDA. Why? Because the CBDA, the acid part, is 1,000 times stronger than regular CBD. Mm-hmm. The problem is, without our patented technology, the CBDA dies in the bottle or when you put it in your mouth. With our patented technology, it protects it and it makes it all the way to your kidney cells, your liver cells. And, we've done testing on this. We've got proof. So we've got products that no other company has. So whether you're making money here at CTFO or not, you're going to want the products. That's one of the keys. That's one of the secrets.
And that's the interesting thing that I think has changed in the industry as well. It used to be that, hey, we've got the vehicle, we've got the comp plan, we're just going to build this. Let's find a product, right? And now you've got to have that customer pathway. You've got to have long-term customers. And I think these steps that you guys have taken have really ensured that. Now, one of the interesting things with CBD is it ties into, this concept of sampling. There was a case study or research that came out that they found that most Americans want to take a CBD product. They're more open to it now than ever before, right? This has changed from where, 5 to 10 years ago. But they all say they'd like to try it before they buy it. And that whole concept just comes down to having sampleable products that people can experience because they want to try it. They want to make sure before they make that kind of an investment or a commitment what the product is, what the quality is, and that it is experiential. So let's talk a little bit about sampling, because sampling isn't something new. It's been around the industry for a long time. So what are some of the key components for you guys that tie into sampling a product, and why is this something that's important at CTFO? Maybe Michael, you could tell us from the distributor standpoint that angle.
Yeah. So I was doing some research just recently about sampling, because now that we have our sampling system and our mobile app in place, I wanted to learn more about it. And we're all aware of sampling. When you walk into a Costco or to a Sam's Club, you'll see all the people around having those foods. I'm not sure as much now with COVID-19, so I don't know what's happening right now, but we knew that sampling. So there's a reason why companies like that do sampling. And then, so I went online and I just typed in, reason for sampling and statistics of sampling. And what I found is that the probability of a customer ordering increases by 2,000% when they sample a product. That is astronomical. That's not like, hey, 5 times, 10 times, 100 times, 2,000% more of a probability of them trying or buying a product once it's been sampling. That is probably one of the most unbelievable things that are out there. So what I love is the simplicity. Going back to where we started this conversation is anyone and everyone can do this? How do you become successful? How do you create duplication? Is anyone can do that? And again, from your phone, you're able to take your cell phone and send someone a landing page where if they want to request a free sample, they can go in there, put their information into that mobile or their response, request a free sample, and everything's done for you. The sample is mailed to them. You're notified in real time. They're watching presentations. There's autoresponders being sent to them. It's a seamless thing. And so anything that you can do to increase, if you said, hey, the probability of someone increasing your sales is just double, that'd be worth it. Right? But to have it to be to that much is unbelievable. And again, I want to, relating back to the question that you asked, McKinley, what is the difference? What makes a difference? Why you have owners like Stuart and his brother Steven and Michael Kahn? What makes it different that they're distributors? Well, a lot of companies that will do sampling, it's a great concept, but they don't make the product commissionable. In this case, because you're buying a product and you're handing it out there, these guys are distributors. They understand, okay, making money with people, not off people. It's also a commissionable product, which is unheard of. So you can build your business by handing out samples, and anyone can do that. So it's super exciting. It's super demonstrable. Anything you can touch, smell, feel, notice a difference, especially products that within a matter, for some people, a matter of seconds or a matter of minutes or a matter of hours, they can experience and feel a difference. They're going to want it and or need it. And it's a great way to run a network marketing company versus just picking up the phone and starting a conversation saying, hey, do you want to make money? Or picking up the phone and say, hey, did you ever hear of network marketing? Versus leading with something like a product, right? A product if someone having some joint discomfort or someone that wants to, deal with any kind of discomfort. For example, we have a CBD cream, which is a patented process that helps with joint relief. Is unbelievable. And most people are suffering from some form of discomfort to be able to do that. So yeah, sampling is big. I think it's the wave of the future. Sampling old time though, it's probably been around for a while, but not as big as it is right now. I think this is the trend that we're seeing right now. I'm thinking back from years ago, in terms of sampling. Yeah, I'm sure there was some out there, but you yourself had to ship a product. You yourself had to do the follow-up. You yourself had what do you say once you
hassle, right?
Yeah.
How do you follow up? How do you know if they've received
How do you
it?
do all that stuff? Versus a mobile app can do the whole thing for you. Where even before and this is something important that Stu was saying, for example, you can have 2 thumbs and send a text message, but a lot of people say, but what do I say? What do I say in my text message? But in this case, what we're able to say with the mobile app is it's written for you. That's
the power of it.
Yeah, I like to use the word it's dummy down, concerning myself. You know what I mean? I can do this. I think I can do this. It's written for me. Everything's written for me. I just got to, it's customized. So it looks like I wrote it. You know what I mean? But it's written for me. All I have to do is just push a button. Now I have to think about, what do I say? How do I follow up? What do I, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's the power of it, and Stu, you had told me before, you're like, look, with sampling levels the playing field. And that's the reason why, right? It comes down to the concept of, hey, I can go in here, I can send a sample, building my phone-based business, I send a sample out, and then the technology does the follow-up, but then the technology also coaches me and says, hey, Michael's sample has arrived today, follow up with them, share this video, and here's what to, go share your story or share this link. So at Verb, we've seen conversion rates, anywhere from 20 to 50%. And it all comes down to how effectively it's handled. Now, the technology by no means replaces it, but it's just taking the sampling experience. It's coaching and helping the distributor to follow up personally and engage. And it just makes the selling that much easier. It goes back to that study that I talked about, that people want to try something, right? And they're more open to it once they've tried it. And I think that's the unique thing with what you guys are doing with the products you have, is someone can notice it immediately, because that's part of it too. If I'm sending samples of vitamin C out, I'm going to probably have pretty low conversion rates, but that's the power I think that you guys have found of having the right products, combining it with the right system, and maximizing technology, being able to do it with your 2 thumbs, where that's when the company ends up winning. So I want to thank you guys for jumping on. We're really grateful for the partnership that we have with you guys. I'm, super excited about the future that you have going forward, and love, building together with you guys. So thanks a lot for joining us today.
No, my pleasure, our pleasure. McKinley, I just want to give one last thought, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
We love you guys. We're so excited that we have you for our associates and everything. But if there's one thing that I've learned in over 30 years of doing this, it must be system driven, not personality dependent. Okay. Yep. That's where the samples come in. But think about this, everybody. If I picked 5 people today that I wanted to go give samples to, and I had to depend on me to do it, it would take me all day to get there and do what I got to do and stuff the envelopes and all that. But with the Verb system, and everybody listen to me loud and clear, I'm not getting paid anything to say this right now. Okay. We're guests. We're happy to be here. This isn't going to make me any money by saying what I'm about to say to you. But if you're a company owner, you owe it to your associates to have a system like this for them. right? Because think about it. I could get on my app, on my Verb app, and in 10 minutes send it to 5 people versus trying to figure out how to do it all day myself. And I don't have to touch packaging. I don't have to touch the sample. I don't have to do anything. You can't put a price on that. It's amazing. So, if your company has a system like this for you, and if you're a company owner and you don't have this for your people, get it. But if not, come to CTFO, because we know this is the future. There's no doubt about it. And I want you to stay where you're at, by the way. I was just kidding about that. You need to stay and build where you're at if you're watching this. But the main thing is this, though. This is it, everybody. This is the future. And Verb, we're very thankful for you guys. We
I appreciate
it. And our associates do too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words. And thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Take care.